If your grades are really bad, I would highly suggest rethinking if you really want to get the scholarship and be here in South Korea. If you're way too old compared to the other applicants, age is just a number, and the desire for learning is what's more important. If you're applying for the Global Career Scholarship Program and unfortunately your grades are not that competitive, this video is perfect for you. Hello, I'm Justin and I'm back for the Global Career Scholarship Program guide. And in this video, I'll be sharing tips for those who have low GPA and still want to apply for the Global Career Scholarship Program Graduate Studies that is currently open in... Let's go. Okay, before listening to this video, make sure that you're eligible to apply even if your grades are not that high. Meaning, it should be at least 80%, or if it's below 80%, you are part of the top 20 of your graduating batch of your school. If you are at least part of the top 20% or your grades are 80% and above, then you can apply for the scholarship program. So let's go to the tips. Best way to apply for the Global Career Scholarship Program, even if you have low GPA, is to make sure that you have a powerful and highly compelling essay. As I have mentioned before, Global Career Scholarship Program has 50% credentials and 50% essay. That's based on my assessment. And if you have a well-crafted essay, I mean, you can still crack the code and be able to go to apply and get the scholarship here in South Korea. So what I usually suggest when you have a low GPA is to be honest about it. For example, there's a reason why your GPA is this low. For example, during your undergraduate, there was a time wherein you were not able to focus on the academics because you got sick, or financial situation, or like you have to take care of your family, so you have to drop out, etc. and etc. These reasons, if they have impact on your grades, making them low, it's possible that you can create a positive perspective out of it. So for example, you helped your family, meaning you have this passion of like putting your family first, and that's something that is admirable. That you're really focused on helping your family, making your family survive, and that's essential. That although it made your academic or grades suffer, you were able to succeed and where you are now. That's a good compelling story. Or for example, because there was a time wherein you were hit of like a heavy typhoon or calamity happened in your country, in your place, and made you really find it difficult to study, but still you survived and were able to cope up and then graduate. That's still a winning story. It's all about perspectives. So even if your GPA is very low, and there are reasons why it's very low, I would highly suggest exploring that specific topic and trying to give light to why your grades are not that good. However, if your grades are really bad because of your own decisions, like you just don't want to study, I would highly suggest rethinking if you really want to get the scholarship and be here in South Korea. Because as mentioned, this is a scholarship. If for a scholarship, there should be a desire for you to study. And sometimes it's unfortunate that the desire for you to study comes late, but it's really, there should be a progression. And if you're just saying that I was lazy before during my undergraduates, that's why my grades are not good, it's not really a good way to say, or it's not really applicable for you to share the story why your grades are low. So that's something you have to think about. Again, Global Career Scholarship Program is not for everyone. And I'll just be honest with you, it's not really for everyone. And sometimes people see that if their grades are very high, they automatically assume that they will get the scholarship. That's not always the case as well. It's a combination of grades, your essay, and then the overall potential of the applicant. And after getting or crafting an impactful personal statement of purpose, I would highly suggest acquiring recommendation letters from high figures in your school or your academe or your workplace. And I think the recommendation letters could help support, even if your grades are not good, would help support the other aspects of your application, be it that you're not just an academic person, you're also a multifaceted person. Mentioned, Global Career Scholarship Program is not just on the academic perspective, but it's a holistic assessment. So asking recommendation letters from, for example, dean of your university or a president of the university or like a vice president of your company shows that you have a lot of relationship and network in a way that it could highlight your interpersonal skills and your ability to communicate with different levels of people. That's also another good aspect to show off, even if your grades are not that good. And if you're wondering if you have worked for a long period of time and then you want to go back to study master's or PhD, you're still allowed to do so as long as you're 40 years old and younger. That's the requirement for master's study. That's something you have to look forward to. And don't worry if you're way too old compared to the other applicants. Age is just a number, and the desire for learning is what's more important. And also, as mentioned, if grades are really low, you can highlight other activities you did during your bachelor's degree. For example, you did a lot of volunteering, or like for example social work during your bachelor's degree, or you did a research or internship. Instead of focusing on your grades, I would suggest focusing on those things. What did you do for your society? What did you do for sustainability? What did you do for your university? What are the projects you managed and held? Although your grades are not good, how were you able to influence other people? Showcasing these aspects of yourself can actually offset somehow the low grades that you have. And again, significant projects can help significantly in your application. That's very important. This is something that you can do, especially for applying for the Global Career Scholarship Program. And this is the number 4. Showing your language proficiency. Even if your grades are not that good, but if you have high topic score, if you're able to learn Korean language, or you can speak other languages, or for example English, you have IELTS or TOEFL, I would highly suggest including that to your application, because that itself can offset a lot of the negative or the low points you'll get because of the low GPA. Because as mentioned, language proficiency or has an automatic merit compared to those who don't have this language proficiency. And I think moving forward, this will be more of a required document to submit instead of just being an additional document or optional document. Don't take it against NID, but this is just my perspective about the language proficiency requirement they are requesting. And number 5, although I cannot provide the list for this, is you can opt to choose universities with lower number of competition. The best way for you to check this is you have to use your skills in Excel and data management, because usually after the application process and they release the list of applicants who passed the scholarship, there will be a list of the university where they got accepted into. If you can use your Excel skills and copy paste all the data and try to populate specific information based on that data, you will be able to check which universities has lower admission. If the universities with less admission, either there is a lower application for that specific university or there is a low number of seats. If you think that university only accepted few people, it's the other way. It's risky, but that's if you really are desperate, that's one way you can do it. Because for example, avoiding Sky and top universities, especially in Seoul and big cities like KAIST, Postek, Yonsei, Ulsan University, Gwangju, these big universities, SNU, KU, Hanyang, these big universities, of course, they will have a lot of applicants. But I think Kyungpook is also one of popular universities that gained a lot of traction this past few years. If you can check universities with you think would not be highly in demand, but there's a possibility for you to get in. That's a way for you to apply for the scholarship program. And actually, the last tip I'll be sharing with you is check the specialty of the university, and then if that aligns with your course, at the same time it's not highly popular or it's not in the big city, I would highly suggest choosing that university. This gives you competitive advantage, especially now. Those who outside of Seoul or the regional universities they mentioned in the GKS application guidelines, the R universities, type B universities, if you give them the chance, if you give them the opportunity to consider you, if you choose them, they highly would be choosing you as well, especially if they don't really have a lot of students or applicants for the year. It's a really hit or miss, but I mean, if you don't have a lot of options, that's a good opportunity for you to try. Oh, with low GPA, I usually suggest applying through university track because embassy track applicants tend to have a more complete package in terms of grade, opportunities, and also experiences, and also competition wise it's really competitive to apply through the embassy track. They have less slots, so a lot of people who go through the embassy track, they are very confident with their skill sets and their credentials, usually with high GPA applicants as well. If your GPA is not that good, I would highly suggest taking the university track and then choosing a university that I have mentioned before that qualifies your preference, that is expert in the field of study that you want to study. At the same time, you think based on your research on the previous years would have a lot of slots but low number of applicants. Again, it's impossible to know how many slots are given per university, but that is usually reflected with the number of students they admit or accept, and that's something that you have to do because I cannot do that for you. And that's it. Even if you have low GPA, you can actually apply for the scholarship. And if you're still here at this part of the video, I'm happy to share that we finally reached 7,000 followers here in TikTok, and I'm really happy for those who are really interested to get the scholarship. And with that, I'll be selecting 7 students, 7 applicants who want their personal statement and statement of purpose proofread and reviewed by me. So, how to join this program? So, the first 7 that will be commenting here, make sure that you're a Global Career Scholarship Program Graduate Study Program applicant that aims to apply this year. I'll be reviewing your essay. So the first 7 GKS 2025 Graduate Studies Program applicant that comments here why they deserve to be selected, then I will just be sending a DM to you, and then let's communicate through DM, and I will ask for your email, and then let's communicate through email and have your essays reviewed. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.